we get into the TPP, we saw Māori Party co-leader Marama Fox, and Charlotte, she just wanted a small comment, I think.
Well, is it your policy, not the Greens' policy?
The Pepe Pod's policy is about Māori. The name in and of itself denotes where it came from. The Wahakura is a Māori policy that we have supported. So yes, the Greens have supported, and we salute them for doing that. I understand that they do, but it comes from Māori about our children who die disproportionately more often from SIDS than others. So that's where it came from. It doesn't belong to us, it belongs to Māori.
Thank you so much.
There you go. And Marama's going to be on in a couple of weeks' time on Backbenchers. But look, the Prime Minister has been in Japan and Hong Kong pushing on with the TPP trade deal, despite the US pulling out. Do we want it? Around the panel, let's start with David.
Absolutely. We are a trading nation.
Okay.
And let me just put it to you this way. If you're opposed to trade agreements around the Pacific Rim, that's like a country of 4 or 5 million people, say Denmark or Colorado as a state of the US or British Columbia as a province of Canada, saying, we don't want to trade with the surrounding area. We don't want to trade with the EU or the United States or Canada. We want to just be our own little sovereign nation. We don't want to have any linkages or rules. That's rubbish.
I want to cheer TPP no. TPP yes. How about that?
Very scientific poll there, Wallace.
It's a pro-TPP audience.
Yeah, it is, but it doesn't make it right.
No,
I mean, let's be
honest,
absolutely realistic about this.
Yeah,
David makes it sound like there'll be no trade if the TPP doesn't go ahead. That's absolute nonsense. The problem with the TPP remains it's not actually a trade agreement. It has a whole lot of things. It has a whole lot of things that are about regulating inside New Zealand, about what kind of laws that we can make, about whether or not our companies can be sued government can be sued by companies.
It'll add $2.5 billion to the economy after a decade. Not small change.
It's less than 1% of GDP in 15 years. But the reality is that we are for trade, and we're for trade that makes the world a better place because it protects the environment and protects workers' conditions and wages around the world. And the TPPA doesn't do much
to electrify the trains.
Doesn't do much to actually improve trade. What it does is it protects the private property rights of certain individuals at the expense of our ability to protect our environment.
If you're in Parliament, will you scrap it?
And regulate for public health.
If you're in Parliament, will you scrap it?
We've said that we cannot sign up to an agreement that means that we can't make laws in New Zealand about property. Of course, because we can't be part of that.
If the US isn't in it, all the bad things the US pushed are still in it that are going to affect the cost of pharmaceuticals.
Look, I mean, trade is very simple, right? You're good at growing meat. I'm very good at growing vegetables. We trade so we can both have meat and vegetables. It's as simple as that. It is as simple as that.
It's not.
Is it as simple as that?
Of course it is. The opportunity cost that these... it's amazing that Grant's going to vote against it, given that these guys set up the first China-New Zealand free trade agreement.
Why is there something in the TPP
He was the one that voted for it, and now he's going against it.
Hey, look, can I just bring another little angle to this?
Taiho, no, David, no, you cannot, because we've got...
so much to say.
No, you cannot, because we've got Kirk Hope in the audience.
Yes, Kirk Hope, Business New Zealand CEO. What do you think about what they're saying? You're very pro-TPP, aren't you?
It's a no-brainer, really. Look, 490 million consumers that New Zealand businesses have access to with no tariffs. So why wouldn't you go for that?
Well, why are so many people against it then?
Well, I think they raised some issues around investor-state dispute resolution stuff. What that provides New Zealand companies with is the opportunity to do exactly those things in states that have much less clear rules than what we do. So I think, on balance, TPP is a very good thing for New Zealand business.
Do you think it will go through? It will happen?
I hope so.
There you go. David, do you want to respond to that?
Oh, look, I think there's another factor here is that it's about your view on other people. It's ultimately about whether we want to have contracts and deal with other people. You've got the Labour Party going on about Chinese-sounding names. You've got the Green Party who want to bring immigration down to 10,000. Yep, they're both trying to cuddle up to New Zealand first because that's the only kind of government they can form as a closed, isolationist, negative, backward 1970s government. That's what it's all about.
All right,
Mike. What David wants to do, can I be clear about this?
Yep.
David wants to make it harder for people in New Zealand to protect our environment, to regulate in the interest of public health, to protect the low cost of drugs that Pharmac negotiates for us. He wants to make it easier for American pharmaceutical companies to earn huge super profits at the expense of New Zealand taxpayers.
Politics doesn't work out, try
All right.
comedy.
Alistair, let's put a figure on this. The TPP, how many jobs, quality jobs will it create? What's the figure that you've costed?
Well, I mean, if we're talking about $2.5 billion worth of subsidies, that's a lot of wages, right? That's a lot of wages.
So how many jobs? How many jobs will it add to the
I can
economy?
tell you if the average wage is about 50,000,
it's
then that's
about
50,000 jobs at
about
2.5
50,000,
billion.
Yeah, there you go. Done.
Look, in 16 years' time, there'll be $200 million worth of benefit. That sounds like a bit in terms of tariffs to Japan for meat. That sounds like a lot. It's not. It's less than 1/1000th of GDP, and we're giving away the right to regulate for that.
Okay, so my question is then, Julianne, would you do a Donald Trump and shut up shop?
Of course not. We're for trade. We're for trade that protects the environment and people, because that's what's important. That's what the economy is for. It's to
And
make
free
life better
trade?
for everyone,
And free trade?
not to help super rich people get even richer, because that's what these guys are about.
Okay. Just a quick comment from the audience, Charlotte. Are you for the Trans-Pacific Partnership or against it, and why?
Are you for TPP? I'm a public servant. I love the honesty. Let's keep going. Are you pro TPP?
I'm an American, not my point to say for New Zealand.
All right, one last one. Are you pro TPP?
I think there's been good discussion from the panel, so it's up to politicians to...
Wow.
There you go. Right back at you, Wallace.
Wow. All right, look.